have you all been doing? I know that you all haven't made it into my stream quite yet, but I love wishing y'all a happy hello. What is today? Wednesday? Happy Wednesday evening or Thursday morning, depending on where you are. Today, I'm going to do some Pokemon rips. I have a mail call, and then I have a whole new setup to show you of all my various awesome pops on a QVC-like display table. So we're going to check out some pops, do a mail call. We're going to open up this bad boy. Yeah. And other than that, I am done with school. Most everyone is most likely done with school at this exact time. We're gonna get right into this. I have not opened one of these beautiful things yet. I was hoping to go, and when I got one, I hoped to get the Dragapult one, but I did not. But it's okay. This one's still gorgeous and beautiful. The entire thing is just gorgeous. First things first is to open it. Alright. We'll put this over here for now, and then we'll take care of the promo cards in just a moment. I want to get right into these packs. Set this down. Alright. So the Shining Fates Mega thing comes with 7 packs. Oh my god, so many are so heavy. Exciting. Alright. Garbage. Threw them all in the garbage. I was like, we're not doing any of that. There will be definitely intermittent times for smoky breaks. First one, I'm gonna wish me a shiny, because that's what I do to get one. This one opens up super easily in comparison to a previous one I had. Alright, so we're gonna take this trading thing online, flip it upside, and we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, cool. So I guess that the energy shall be water. Oh, no. No steel. Alright, well, we're gonna do it like this. Shoot-doo-doo. Dartrix. Ellie Gloss. Rusted Sword. Could probably get through the commons faster, I think, about that. Horsey. Alright, we got a Eevee. What is this? Chudo. The Chewing Turtle. What's behind this Chewing Turtle? Morpico. I love Morpico. Alright. Getting close. What's this? Ah! We got a shiny! Ooh, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo! Alright, let's see if I can get it to focus. Probably shouldn't have turned off my autofocus, but this Wooloo shiny is gorgeous. I just realized that there's another card behind it. Alright, so what is behind? Huh. Boss's orders. That was fascinating. Alright, moving on to the next pack. I'm going to turn on autofocus super fast so that fixes the problem. There we go, autofocus has been applied. Ta-da! Okay. And wouldn't it be nice if you could give me a shiny? Alright, let's keep it super tight. Tighten it. We will put the trading card, the online trading card over there. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alright. I think it's going to be a fairy. Fairy! Oh, fighting. Autofocus works a little better. So we should be able to do that now, right? Ball guy. Yeah, it does work. Sweet. That'll work better. Ball guy. Detrix. Rusted sword. Got a bunch of you in the first round. Coughing. Morpico! Oh, it's the other one. Yeah, I love Morpico, as you obviously can tell. Yanma. Yeah! Oh, Gal, what up? It has been a while. I got really bogged down with a bunch of school. And now that that's done, I'm come back. So we got the shiny Phalanx. Come on. There we go. Yeah. It's gorgeous. Phalanx, shiny. Alright. Let's see what's under this next one. Ooh. Not a shiny, but still awesome. The Indeedee V. Not V Max, but V. Still very pretty. How have you been? I know, it was super pretty. Glad to see you stopped by. Thanks. I very much appreciate it. I'm done with school forever now, so now I get to just dedicate what I'd like to do for a Twitch stream. Are they still trying to buy your RGB? Since I don't know what that is, I'm gonna say no. I don't do acronyms well. Everyone is like, what? You don't do acronyms? And I'm like, no, I don't. They mean 3 letters to me that I can't ever remember. Alright, moving on to the third pack. Already got 3 cards that I'm super excited about. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, actually, I think I gave that to a friend because they needed it, and I was like, yeah, absolutely. Alright, we've done 4. I think the energy that we'll see... I'm gonna go Steel. Man, I'm really bad at guessing the energy. Alright. Bam! Starting off with Ball Guy. That is his name. I promise you. Luxio. Eldegols. Eevee. Oh yeah, and RGB. I should have totally understood that. The chewing turtle again. The little cactus. They are super pretty. Glossifer. Eevee's amazing, right? I actually got a holographic one of those pretty recently. I'll show you. Coughing! One of the ones I can do, so I will. Oh. Okay, well, there was something back there, but I messed that up. What is next? Reverse Hollow Nickit. It's like a nicotine and Crobat V. Nice. Excellent. Let me get that Eevee since it's literally within grabbing distance. Look how beautiful this holographic Eevee is. There we go. Playing with Voltorbs and Pokeballs. I know, right? I thought that one was great. Alright, we got 4 more. Do 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 do. Can you give me a shiny, please? Alright. Oh, this one I can't tear open. Gotta tear it open from the top. Which is what I've been doing with all of them, so that probably sounded... Someone just fell. One of my pops just fell! Who was it? Hold on. It was Monica Rambeau. She was just too strong, and she was like, I gotta make an appearance as Captain Marvel up in this. Well, I'm gonna set her down. I know why she fell, because she was on a extremely light box, but going back to the Pokemon cards. That's hilarious. Take this over there, and we're gonna put 4 cards on the bottom. She did want attention. She came in a destroyed box, so I opened her, and I got a new one. So, new one's in the way. 2, 3, 4. So that was very exciting. Alright. The energy will be water. Steel. I was 1 too late. Rusted sword ball guy again. Ooh, Tropius. Shinx. The Spinnerack. Makes a cute noise, Spinnerack does. Spinnerack. But I can't make the cute noise. Well, we can see 2 at once. But now I've changed it. Ha! There's a magic trick up in here. Bezel. Cute Fant. There's the cactus one. Who is under cactus? A shiny Meowth. Is it Galarian Mouthy shiny? Oh, 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 yeah. Do, 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 do. Yeah. Thank you for my shiny dance. Who's gonna be behind you? It is a professor's research. Alright, we're getting down to the end. We already got one that I don't have, so I'm pretty elated and ecstatic for that. Oh yeah, quick vape break. Much better. Okay. This is the Dragapult one that I wanted to get the actual set of, but I wasn't able to. This one's also super hard to open. Do 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 do. All right, take the online gift card, put it over there, flip this, put 4 of these little dudes on the bottom of the pile, please. 1, took way too long. 2, 3, and 4. Alright, alright. So, I'm really bad at this. Grass energy. Feeling grass energy. Grass energy! It's dark energy. Dang it! Alright. Let's go on. Gym trainer. Dartrix. Eldegoss. Come on, Rowlet. Was doing the best it had ever had. There we go. Spinarak. Spinarak. Horsey. That's a good one. Another Morpeko. Who's behind you? It's coughing, it's true. What do you do is behind you? Ooh, reverse hollow Dartrix, but he's like a different model. He looks different. Or a different card of it. Who is behind you? Looks like it is not one of the packs that... Oh, it is! I couldn't tell, but it is a holographic. Doocy-doo. DC-dooey-eye. Yeah, that's definitely not it. But this one definitely... The owl is pretty, right? This is the owl's, like, evolution form. So, super owl. Let's see if I can get a focus on it. Shiny, shiny, shiny. Alright. Running out of space for these cards. Okay. We have 2 more packs. We've got the Charizard and the Cortex. No, that's wrong. The Strange Raven. Alright, we're going to do Charizard first. Oh, wouldn't it be nice if you could give me some shiny? They have been really good Pokemon packs. I have literally opened 10 and not gotten any except for reverse hollows, and 2 of them didn't have any reverse hollows, and I was like, you guys, usually at least 1 comes with every single pack. Alright. Getting down to the wire. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Ooh, water. Okay. I'm gonna go with your water. Water! Ah, grass. Boom. Where's the sad sound effect? Alright, let's put that there. And bam! We got Tropius. Team Yell Towel. Float Cell. This is a good one. Come on. I understand you like my hand, but what I want you to do is focus on this card. There we go. So pretty. Okay. Coughing. Shinx. Spinarak. The unevolved version of that. Boizel? Boizel? An aficionado of Pokemon names is going to cut me one day. But that's not how you say it! Luxury. Ooh, and a Celebi! I don't think it's a hollow, but I don't think any of them are. Let me check. Yeah, no. But still, I love Celebi. Let's get that in there. Oh, yeah. Hi! I'm Celebi. And I like taking long walks on the beach and playing in the water. I would have had something better prepared, obviously, but there was no time. Okay, so this is the last pack before we move on to the unboxing of a couple things. Corviknight, that's what it is, Corviknight. Can you just have one last shiny for me? Please, I'm not gonna buy any more packs, you see, that's such a lie. I'm so glad that you are at least entertained enough by my nonsensical singing. Even if I wasn't Twitch streaming, I'm pretty sure that most of my conversation does exist with musical lyrics between it. So, Gal, what was, have you gotten any new Funko in your life? Let's flip it. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Ooh, some sodas. I just ordered the Scarlet Witch sodas today. I was so excited that I caught those. What sodas did you get that you like? Because every soda that I get, I'm like, I don't know if I like this now that I have it. So we're going to go with water again. We're just going to keep betting water. It's going to be water one of these days, right? Water fighting. Oh, the owl. Nice. I obviously see Miguel and Superman on the other sides of those, but I really wanted the owl. So, because I have Miguel and I have Superman, right? Yeah. Okay. So after that energy was a ball guy. You missed the drop today. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I have my drop. The drops are at 6 a.m. my time, so I always wake up like at 5:50. And then it was like even later today. So luckily I still have my phone with me. Ball guy. Ah, forgetting can happen. I forgot on the day for the Disney, the Diamond edition of Sorcerer Mickey. That made me super sad. Tropius. Eldeglose. Nicket. Shanks. Cactus. Horsey. Eevee. Swimming in some water. Yeah, we did it. We got the shinies. And is there anything awesome behind this choodle? There is another Rillaboom. This guy is popular in my life. I have so many of those. And it is super pretty, right? I love all the shinies. I think there's a couple. That I pulled kind of recently that I really like. So we'll do a little bit of that. We'll just do 3 of the ones that I pulled recently, and then we'll move on to the next portion of my programming. So I got this Lapras the other day. Focus. Okay. Super shiny, super pretty. And then I got the matching twin of that Lapras, but as a rainbow card. Thought this one was so gorgeous. Just incredible. Do 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 do. Wee wee wee. And lastly is another rainbow card. I know, right? The other one is super cool. This one is like a gigantic birthday cake that's coming to freaking kill you. Trying to find the best angles. I'm gonna say it's here-ish. Bam, right there. Glow. The one is amazing a second time I see it. Nice. Alright. So this is it for the Pokemon card portion. And now I have finally a second camera set up so that we actually can like view a whole. We're just gonna do it. We're going to do it. It's very exciting. Ta-da! This took way too long. I was very happy to set this up today, but I did win the ECC lottery, so I have a whole mess of the awesome ECC stuff. This ogre, 3,000 pieces. It's one of my favorites. I don't understand why everyone was like kind of over it the second it came out, but I love it. Put it in a hard stack, as you can tell. If you can see behind our beautiful ogre, we've got the pirate skeleton, which I'm going to bring down in just a moment, but let's give the ogre a couple more spins. He's just been spinning over there this entire time. Wow, that's the first time a chat message popped up. I wonder why it didn't work the thousands of other times that chat has existed. One of the problems with my room setup at the moment is that I actually have to go and move on over to the location to switch out my pops, but that's alright. You get a beautiful few pops behind me anyway. Minute, I will get it set up so that we can see its glow. Yay, I framed everything correctly. Sorry, I'm so excited and elated with this that I've completely just spaced out on what's happening for a moment there. It's kind of like what I wanted to have happen, is this moment where I can sit and view the treasure skeleton in my second camera view while it spins on that little beautiful display table. So we're gonna open up the treasure skeleton. Let's do it. That's the one that does glow. 4,000 pieces. So we're gonna glow it up. Let me go grab it. Yoink. All right. Good guess. Let's go back to this for just a moment. There's a beautiful Ecotech 6-inch pop protector that the lock is so tight. There we go. So as Sully would suggest, to open this from the bottom, I shall. Let's get this out of the pop protector first. Pop protector is heavy. And I normally have a card near me for this exact moment, but I'm going to use several of these Pokémon, these things, to open it up. Worked like a charm, thank you, Sully. This is the first time I'm opening it. Wanted to wait and make this a special occasion. Ugh. I'm just so excited already. Even at the bottom, it's like Disney and all this beautiful ass stuff. Okay. Be super gentle as it's my favorite pop. I know I disappeared for a second, but I had to be extra gentle with this box. Wow, guys. This is impressive. I love him out of here. It's gonna be sad to have to pull these little things open. Ah! Ah! That wasn't too bad. It's like in perfect condition still. I do not have an actual black light, guys. Here it is. Ah! I'm so excited to hold it. Okay, where's my flashlight? So we're gonna hold the flashlight on it for just a moment. If I can find the flashlight, because that's the most important part of this entire thing. I just had it a second ago, and I don't know where it went. Just a second. I'm gonna find it. Come on, flashlight. Don't be mean to me. Yay, I found you. Okay. Alright. So we will just do this. Alright. How was your Wednesday, gal? I know you said you're doing well, but just in general, I'm glad to see that you came by to hang out with me while I showed you some Pokemon cards, and we're going to check out this crazy, crazy awesome glow on this guy. How long does one hold a light on one of these for the successful glowage? It was a good day. Now relaxing before calling it a day. Nice. Yeah, it's only 7:36 p.m. here. I should really learn to do these earlier, but I set up a lot of stuff today. You know, I think that's pretty good, right? Been blasting this thing, glowing his head up. Alright. Gotta kill these lights so that we can see the beautiful glow. Hello. All right. And nothing. That was so sad. There's like the tiniest little bit of glow. Let's try a different procedure. We're just gonna hold it like this, and then I'll show you in this. Alright, let's go back to just chatting and sharing. Nope, because the light on the screen is too intense. It had some glow. It has to take a while to glow. Oh, okay. Let's turn the light back on. I will totally buy a black light in the future so that I can get things like this to glow, but I'm going to set this up right on his face over here while we do my last activity, and then we'll try and see the glow on that guy. Alright, that's set to glow. And I have one mail call to do. The UPS man was so gentle with this package. It made me very happy. I do know what's inside this, and I think it's kind of funny that I did a showing of a non-glowing version of it. It's a treasure skeleton! But this one's the non-glow, the Disney guy. I had to have both. I had to have them. And that's literally the only thing that's in this box. Right? I thought that would be perfect timing to just set it up that way. Another treasure skeleton. Wherefore I have all the treasure and the skeletons combined. Let me set this guy here. Ta-da! That didn't take much time at all, did it? It is funny when one item gets shipped in a super big box. I'm gonna try and do the glow of this thing one more time. Should be possible. I'll just hold it up real close to the other camera because it'll be all dark over there. Is it glowing? Can you see it? Oh, it's not even on. Hold on. Switch screens. And bam. Treasure skeleton. Yes, you can totally see his glow a little bit in this camera setup. I got a better idea. I imagine that this is in frame because I can't see. And my arm is just not long enough to see. Let me turn this. Alright, well that was my best attempt. You learn every day new stuffs. It does glow a little. Very excited. Alright. That is all the activities that I had planned. I will be streaming a little bit later some Fall Guys. But at the moment, I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup, and then I'm going to come back. Thank you so much, Gal, for kicking it while I showed you a whole bunch of new fun stuff that came in. And I'm glad that I could be some fun in the end of your day. You have a fantastic rest of your day, whatever time zone that may be in, and I'll see you again. Thank you. It was awesome to see the Pokémon in Funko. Well, you're very, very welcome. Aloha!